Well, are we live at 5? How about live at 7? Well, welcome everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day to all our Irish and non-Irish woodworkers tonight. What a lovely day to have as our first in-person meeting since January, I guess, right?
November.
No, it is?
We didn't come in January. Omicron.
You did, but we did.
Oh, okay.
Regardless of when it's been since anyone has been to a live meeting, welcome. I hope you like the round tables tonight. I think it's because we told the Shriners that we were going to have a round table discussion, and this is what happened. But I think everyone agrees it works out pretty nice. I saw a lot more social interaction, and that was really nice to see. So unless there's any major opposition, this will be our new standing or sitting arrangement, if that's all right. Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, let's see. Tonight's meeting, what we're going to do is just I remind you that we are recording this meeting, so it is, and we are streaming it. So if you miss something, you can always go back and watch it, and we know there are still some people who aren't comfortable getting out, so that's why we stream it. So there's that. Okay, now this is going to be a fun one. We have 7 new members already this month. We have many that are here tonight, and I know we have I call them the kids table, but it's the new member table, and I said you just stand up, we'll give you the mic, introduce yourself. Who has the mic? Mike, do you have the mic? The new kid table. And just say your name and why you joined our wonderful guild.
Thanks. My name is John Chapman. Recently retired. I've been doing kind of craft woodworking for several years, and I was just looking for something to fill my retired days with. So.
Every day is Saturday. That's right.
My name's Ron Johnson. I'm retired as well, and I've been a woodworker for, I don't know, 30, 40 years. I've made some big stuff, little stuff, probably not as fancy as some of the stuff that you guys have done, but kind of the draw was, 1, the library back here. That's a lot of nice books, and 2, the shop, and then 3, you know, I'm sure that there's lots of folks here who have more experience than I do, and so hopefully I can take advantage of that, right? And maybe share some things that I know too. So anyway, that's it for me.
Welcome. All right, next.
My name is Todd Martin. I'm not retired, but maybe with a little help from you all, I can maybe get there someday. Yeah, the reason I joined is similar to a lot of you, I'm sure, right? I have a passion for woodworking. I'm not very good at it, at least in my own mind, and I want to get better at it. And, you know, I want to leverage all of the skills and experience and the shop. And yeah, a lot of the same interests as you guys, so that's my story.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Next.
Hi, my name is Dan Bellman. I don't have any experience really. I've got some machinery. My wife got it from estate sales. And I am retired too, so I got the time to do it. So I always love the beauty of wood, and I want to be a part of it.
Well, wonderful. Next.
I'm Larry McIntosh. I'm sort of retired, but I'm a business owner, so you never really retire. My son's kind of taken over, but he wants me out of the place, and my wife does not want me in the house, so they bought this membership for me for my birthday. And I'm really interested in learning more from other people. We've been doing some wood lathe stuff, and I'm having a blast doing it, and made a couple of cutting board things and a few other things. The challenge I want to perfect is how to turn a wooden egg. So I've watched probably 20 hours of tutorials on it. And it's really a wooden egg. It's hard to do. Some people that do it really well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're the new guy too, right?
No, take
I'm
it
Wayne
away.
from New Jersey.
My name is Jay Lee. I think I'm retired because I'm not working, so I quit my job last June. So woodworking has been my passion. My dad was a woodworker, and the thing is, he couldn't do any drawings. When he was doing something, everything was in his mind. But I'm an engineer. Even though I can do the drawings, but I cannot remember my drawings. So I just want to learn from my fellow friends here, and
Thank you. Okay, so that's that table.
I didn't make it over to the new guy table, but I guess there wasn't room there. So my name is Bob Ryan, and I've been doing woodworking for, I guess, about 30 years, but it's just been kind of a hobby for me. I am retired too. Yay! Every day is Saturday. I love that. And but I'm looking forward to learning a lot. Right now I'm working on my downstairs. I'm ripping out 3 walls and putting in a kitchen down there. So I'm looking forward to talking to people about cabinet making. So that I don't screw it up too bad. So.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
you're in the right place.
All right.
All right. Any other new members? Yeah. Yeah. No? Okay. I think we have some visitors here tonight. Would you like to just say hi over here, David? Oh, hang on.
My wife, Ruth, and daughter who have an interest in a CNC machine. So.
Wonderful.
We got ourselves a CNC for Christmas, and so we're learning how to use it.
Even better. So we have a membership table. We can sign you up. Well, welcome everyone. All right. Anyone else want to? Yes.
My name is Phil Sonderman, and I'm here with Jack. He said it was a great organization, and we bought a house in Webster in 1975. My wife said put up a shelf. So I started with the shelf and then went on from there. And the thing that I make most is sawdust. I just make a lot of that. And but I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
It's
you're
great.
definitely in the right place.
There's a new TV
Oh, yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
There's a new TV show. It's called The Craftsman, singular man, Craftsman, on Magnolia Network. I'd encourage you all. There's a 90-second trailer on YouTube. It's a unique story about an 80-year-old woodworker in Eureka, California. I was enthralled with all his pedal-driven routers and saws. A lot of the equipment is pre-electric motor. So it's an amazing story. There's 2 series shows out, and I just thought I'd share it since there's a woodworking
Yep.
theme.
Yeah, perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you. Set that down.
Yeah, and the Magnolia Network was DIY. So if you have cable, just look. It used to be DIY, and then Chip and Joanna Gaines made it the Magnolia Network. But you can Google it, and there are the seasons on YouTube and on Discovery Plus.
Is that the one where the guy builds motorcycles and goes around?
No. This guy's all Victorian, mostly Victorian stuff.
No, I'm talking about the host of this thing.
That's Craftsman's Legacy.
No, this is Chip and Joanna out of Waco, Texas, that go in and fix up houses.
Used to be called Fixer Upper.
Yeah, it used to be called Fixer Upper. Okay. Well, to our guests and our new members, somebody's messing with my slides. I just wanted to mention that a big part of this organization is our community outreach. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about the 3 that we are really focusing on this year. But it is a big component, and we have lots of opportunities for those that want to volunteer working on projects for those organizations. You'll hear more about. Let's see. Oh, raffle. Okay, raffle. Everybody got your raffle tickets? How about one of our new folks drawing? I have 2 gift cards. Last 4 digits, 6375. 63, not me.
How about 57?
Oh man.
We got a new member. All right.
Okay, I have a $50 Woodcraft or a $20 Rockler gift card.
I'll take the Woodcraft.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right, we need one. Okay, now you have to draw the next ticket. Oh, somebody else drawing?
I already got it. I got it
That's
picked
fine.
out already. Pull one out.
398.
398. Is that 6398?
6398. Yes.
Not me. For the $20 Rockler gift card.
Oh, in the back.
Okay, we'll leave it up here.
There you go.
You can
I'll take
come
it.
get it. Yes.
Yeah.
You could be anybody. Thank you. All right. Enjoy. All right, that's our raffle.
And it.
Okay, the infamous Build-A contest. Remember that? We announced it, I think, back in November. And we were going to have submissions in January, then February, then March. Now we're up to April. So you got 1 more month, and we have some flyers as to what the program's about, but basically you take 5.33 board feet and turn it into something really cool. David, anything else you want to say? No. Okay. Anyway, I think it's a fun little project. We thought it would be something to keep people busy over the winter, but now we're into spring. So we look forward to your submissions next month. Next month's going to be a big, big month. So plan on being here. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, we have a few programs next month. It's going to be building pianos. I think we had a building string instruments last year, right? And I know, Bill Schucott, you're building your violin still? Yes? So anyway, anybody interested in piano playing, I think this will be a really cool one. And then that Saturday, we're going to have a tour out at Scott Wonder Woods Tour. So more information's on the website. And then our May program is rescheduled from February on wood glues. There's more than one kind, so let's find out. And then looking ahead, we have scheduled our picnic. I can't even remember the last time we had a picnic. 3 years ago now, maybe? Anyway, we're going to have it at Forest Park, and we're going to have a special tour of the museum furniture, which is really cool if you haven't been down in the basement and seen a lot of their different kinds of furniture. But upcoming classes. So we had a lot of new members, right? And raise your hand. And interest in, well, you didn't, I meant you did raise your hand. You don't have to raise it now. But everyone is interested in learning more. And we have got a tremendous list of classes taught by members. That these are just the ones coming up in the next few months. There's shorty classes where, Bill, that's just a few hours worth of come and learn how to, 1 hour to use how to use the equipment that's in the shop. And so we have a few shorties that you'll see. Then we have classes where those are pay for, usually a day, some of them maybe 2 days. And then we also have some events out at the shop, like the small table build and the lap box builds. Those are, again, items for our community outreach organizations. So that's where you can come and learn new skills, and then we get some finished products.
Vicki?
Yes, sir.
Do all these classes have to be registered for?
Great question about registering for the classes. Yes, Classes have to be registered for, and you do that through our website. And you can pay through the website as well. Okay? Also, this is the 3 biggest community outreach programs we have. The Rockwood School program is one that we've done now a couple of years. Bill Schucott is leading that. Bill, if you would please raise your hand. It's a program where I think 3 different levels of difficulty of kits of wood parts are made by members, and then the school children put them together. And then we get them back, right, to go to our toy program? Right. So it's a pretty cool program, and more information is available on the site, or if you have questions, Bill is here to answer them. The next one is our Christmas toy program, not to be confused with our regular toy program. We found last year that many of our receiving organizations just didn't need as many of our toys. So we knew we wanted to find an outlet for your creativity. So we decided to focus on a Christmas toy program where we built, shall we say, a little bit bigger maybe, and we finished them for one thing, a lot of painting going on. They were just different in nature than our normal monthly contributions. And we decided that was a really cool thing. We had just under 1,000 toys that were donated to 2 places, Toys for Tots and LifeWise, which is another place I volunteer, a really cool organization. So we decided to continue that this year. And we've made it a little more formal. It was a little, Wayne, I'm sorry to say, a little haphazard last year, and felt like we were a little rushed because we really focused at the end of the year. This year we're spreading it out, meeting twice a month on Fridays, 12 to 4. I think tomorrow is another one of our meetup times. And we have specific projects, specific toys that we work on. So again, if you're looking to increase some of your skills, volunteering and coming out on Friday afternoons is a good way to do that. The last one is one that we started this year, which is the other place I volunteer, Home Sweet Home. And it's tables. And we have a couple examples of the tables that we have made as samples to show you. But Tom Tierney is leading that effort. He is hoping to find a co-lead. So if anybody is interested in kind of helping with that one, that would be great. A little bit about Home Sweet Home will come up, but it is one where I would say, if you are decluttering or downsizing in any kind of home goods, from your silverware, plates, shower curtains, small appliances, furniture, it's a great organization to donate to, and they will pick up. So what about Home Sweet Home? Well, it's to give, I guess, a higher quality of living to underserved people. So who are those that we mean? Sometimes it's people that are coming off the streets. Sometimes it's people that are coming out of prison. Sometimes it's people that have had to leave their current home life and start anew. So it's just opportunities for people to have a good quality of life. And to start over, they're literally often starting over with nothing. So they want to bring hope to people, and what I've seen, they are doing that. But because they rely on donations, and I see a lot of what comes in at their warehouse, they have told me, or I've asked, how can we help? And they said tables. We never seem to have enough tables. So I said, man, we can do tables. So we had a gentleman from, let's see, who was that? Dan Satelli, I think, with Forder Crafters, had a bunch of white oak, this 8-quarter white oak. And he had reached out to us and said, can you guys use it? So we said, sure. You know, we had no idea for what, but we went and got it and cut it down, bundled it, and this is what we're doing. So I think this is what we got, 10 footers. It got culled down to 40-inch boards, roughly 140 board feet. And we had an idea for a table, and then we have reality. So here's the coffee table, and here's the side table that were built with this wood. And these are the tables that we are, we've got a plan put together, I think, Dan, did you do this plan?
Yes.
Dan Lindner did this plan. And we've got the bundles of wood. And if you're not comfortable making them on your own, that's one of the things that we're going to do at the shop on the Build a Table Day. So a great opportunity to, again, utilize your existing skill sets, or as a group come together and learn some more. All right. So, oh, yes, yep, up, yes.
So the boards come in 10. Tom Tierney was able to cut them up to 40-inch lengths, which is ideal for a table that's 36 inches long. Many of the recipients of these tables live in small apartments, so it can't be large furniture, it has to be small furniture. And 40-inch lengths will fit in probably anyone's vehicle. So it's ideal for you to pick up a bundle of wood, and you have to make boards out of them. Small pieces, like 1 inch wide, long smaller than 4. So it's a lot of gluing and joinery work, and then planing it to get a smooth surface. But it's great, free, white oak wood. And then with that, we're asking you, if you have that skill set, please volunteer, get a bundle of wood, and build a table of your choosing. So the plans up front is just really an idea. We thought that for starting off, if something looked a little more like mid-century modern type furniture or contemporary furniture, it'd be more appealing to the community that's moving into St. Louis. But the coffee table has a bridal joinery. The end table, it has a butt joint with dowels. So feel free to if you get the plans, to change it up to your skill set, or change it up to something maybe you've never made a bridal joint. Well, now's an opportunity to make that bridal joint. And if you mess up, ask Tom for more wood. So now we're still working out the details of the plan, because these two tables are not complete. They're not finished. We have to work that out. But we're asking, please join this. Maybe you want to be a collaborative with someone else. Maybe you're a turner, but you really don't want to collaborate with somebody else. You can turn legs, and then they can make the flat surfaces, and together you have a table. It'd be a good way to share your afternoon or your Saturday with a co-woodworker. So and then, like Vicki said, from here, if you have basic skills, I don't even know what a bridal joint is. Well, we're hoping as we start build a few of these that we can grab our lessons learned and build some training classes from that. And then you can build a table, and then you can give that table to Home Sweet Home, and be a part of helping the community.
Great, thank you.
No, we plan on finishing these tables. Yeah.
So I know somebody had mentioned they wanted to learn about finishing. This would be a great opportunity to pick up that skill set.
Right, in one of the, perhaps of a training session, but we're asking those people that already have the skill sets currently to be a part of this, to help us then to develop those training classes. But in the meantime, to get the process rolling and getting tables out to the community.
Thank you, Dan. All right. Let's see. A couple more announcements till we get to show and tell. Next month, April. April is our election month. And Dan, I think you're going to share what the nominating committee has put together as a slate of candidates. And then next month at the meeting, we will vote. And I will get to step down.
You don't have to.
Well,
I
I don't really want to, but we're going to hit the high seas again.
Yeah. My name is Dan Sudkamp. Tom Tierney and Adam Connors and I got together and we vetted some candidates for positions. We have some incumbents coming back, and we have new positions coming in, and we have a slate of candidates currently. I'd like to read them. For President, Brian Ellison. Vice President, Bill Shucock, who's an incumbent. Tom Tierney for Treasurer, who's an incumbent. Adam Connors for Secretary, he's an incumbent. And for director, we have 2 candidates currently, Hal Donovan and James Payne. Next meeting, like I said, we have, welcome any nominations from the floor. If you want anybody to nominate, like I said, if you want to talk to either one of us, Tom, Adam, or I, let me know. We'd like to talk to them, see if they're interested. But like I said, next meeting we'll be voting on candidates. So.
I would also just explain that we have 4 directors, and one rolls off every year because it's a 4-year term.
And I'm the one director that's falling off this year.
He's fallen off, so we need a replacement for you. Okay, so it is a 4-year commitment. But it's probably the easiest job, wouldn't you say? Yes, please say it on the board.
Better than president.
No. Now I will say that being president with this board is easy because
we do have a lot of good.
There's a lot of great people.
Very good people.
And they know what they're doing. So I just get up here and run the meetings sometimes and write my monthly letter. But speaking of that, hopefully yesterday I sent out a help wanted ad for a new cameraman because we are finding that as weather's coming on, he's our stand-in cameraman. He's with me tonight. John raised his hand when I said, please, 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 please come and be our cameraman. Brian Ellison is our normal cameraman, was not able to be here tonight. And we know, people have lives. So we're trying to come up with a pool of 2 or 3 people that can be our cameraman so that we don't have to rely on the same person every time. So if you're interested in being a cameraman or being in the pool of camera people, please let one of us know, particularly the guys at the table over there. John will tell you it hasn't been too difficult. Basically, you just point the camera at who's ever talking. So anyway, we would love to have a couple of more people available to us if you're interested. All right, I think that's all my announcements. Now we will go to show and tell. So that little penguin came from Argentina. John and I were on that Antarctic cruise, which you had to sit through the slides about 4 times, I think. But if anybody has any questions about that trip, we will be happy to share them with you. And if you ever get a chance, go. I mean, it was just amazing. Be that as it may, there was a little guy, had a table set up, and he was selling different carvings, and John picked us up the penguin. So that's what that's there for. Now, the items on the table now, are they all CNC items? No. Okay, so you have the list.
He's got the list.
Who's up first?
He volunteered me.
Oh, okay.
These cutting boards right here, I put together. Again, looking at, I don't even know where I'm supposed to face, but a lot of our pictures and such, and I try to look at. I've been doing cutting boards for years now, but my wife's a sewer, so I've been doing quilt blocks, and I just brought one of those tonight. But I bought a new sled for my table saw. Everybody heard of I think it's called the Dubbi Sled, D-U-B-B-Y. It's a self-made guy that designed it, but once you get it set up, he has it all set up where I also do segmented bowls. So if I want to do 10-sided, 12-sided bowls, he's got it set up where you don't have to worry about the angle. If you want 10-sided, you put it to where it says 10-sided, stop it, lock it in, start cutting your pieces. It's pretty slick, pretty slick. So that's where I started doing these, and I just kind of started playing with them. Like I said, they just kind of worked out pretty nice. People get freaked out about that one a little bit, but if you just look at it as a series of triangles, it's not so bad. That's where you get into, like I said, Pinterest and stuff. They break them down a lot simpler than what it needs to be. So.
All right, thank you, Dan.
And can we get all of our other show and tell folks to come stand back here so we can get you mic'd up?
Who's next? Oh, Don.
All right, so I think I got my mic on. This is some of the CNC stuff, but I just had a few things that I just wanted to show. They're related to, these are kind of Chippendale style, and there's a rosette there. But what the CNC, I basically just went to the internet, grabbed a picture off of the internet, and converted it into this. So you can really, it's amazing what you can do just off of a picture from the internet. And then the software we're going to all talk about, you can make these little, this is a grapes and vines and so on. And then this is just plinking around with it, trying to learn how to use it. And then this is I use a walnut on top, and then there's just poplar on the bottom. This is all scrap wood I had laying around in the shop trying to learn how to use it. So it just shows you all the things you can make, and have another piece I'll talk about when we get to the presentation. So it's just more CNC stuff that we're all playing around with. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up, please.
Larry Alvarez, and I'm still doing small stuff. Started off with pine cones, just find them around here in the area, take them home, put them in the toaster oven to get all the moisture out of them, then I stabilize them. And they'll come out looking sort of like this. And from that, I make pins, different pendants, and Christmas ornaments. That's it, pretty much.
cool.
Any questions on it?
Bill?
I've been told to stand on the platform. So. I'm Bill Schucott. I head up the Rockwood toy program where we make kits. And these are a couple of prototypes that I made for this spring. After we got this one done, the teacher and I decided this is way too hard for the kids. They'd never get it done in the time allotted. And this one is painted. The ones the kids are going to do is not painted. She said they'd get to arguing about the paint. Didn't want to have to deal with that. So this is just a little cable car. So
Very nice.
fun little projects.
Yeah.
If anybody wants
And are
plans,
those
I've got
plans,
them.
are those plans on our website?
No, the plans are in my shop.
Okay.
Okay, I may see my
say
wife.
who you
doesn't
are
want
again. Say who you are again.
Oh, Jay Lee. I'm the new kid.
Right.
One of the new kids. My wife doesn't want me mess around in the house. Doesn't want me make any furniture because too much dust, noise. So So it seems to me the only thing I can make are the tools for myself. So this year is based on a number 4 plane. You know, this year is like a typical Lee Nielsen handle, but I made that longer. It's more romantic. Then I designed the cap iron, and also I had a shop made the blades for me, and also, this adjuster is also I bought from somebody, who has a machine shop, and I also made that screw from a stainless steel. It's like a machine screw, so I round it up, then use a hacksaw to cut a groove. That's it.
Okay. I think we need to see you at the shop on Fridays on the toy program.
Yeah.
So if you're not
Sure.
working, you can come by tomorrow at noon. Thank you,
Okay.
Jay. Next.
Alan Brown. I just a couple things I was just working on. I wanted to make an end grain cutting board. Okay, so this is made out of barnwood oak. Okay, that I got at an auction. Okay, $15 for, I think it was 30 board foot, 2 inches thick. So I made some cutting boards for my family, okay? And then I worked on the toys last year, okay? And one of the things that that Build It program, okay, Build It thing here, one of the things that we needed, I thought, was a jig for making wheels, okay? We make a lot of wheels, okay? So I went online and took the best of what I found and built one for the shop, okay? So the toy program can benefit from it, okay? And basically, these slide, okay? The blade comes in here. There's a circle that goes around this, okay? You cut the board in a square, rotate it around, and you got your wheel, no matter what size you want.
Huh.
Okay? So that's going to the shop.
Wonderful. Thanks. And one more?
Yeah, I'm Jerry Baines, and I actually had a interview with my doctor today, and they asked me, the mental questions is like, do you know what month it is? And it's like, I'm retired. I don't know what month it is, Okay, that's a side issue. I took Wayne Humphrey's Bandsaw box class, and I got half of this done in his class. I mean, he already had the block made up, but he showed us how to flox the inside, and I just get a lot of bang for your buck for just a little bit of work. So I'm going to start making more of these because they look pretty good, but it's a bandsaw box. So.
All right, thank you. Quick little story, not knowing what month it is. The big question around our house is, what day is it? I cannot get the day right. So I found on Amazon a clock about this big, and the first big line is the day of the week, and then whether it's morning, noon, evening, or afternoon, and then the dates. With what month it is or what day, they've got a tool for that. All right, any more? Yes, sir. Jay. Oh, please hold for the next available microphone.
Jane Offsinger. I have a friend who inherited a wood lathe from Grandpa, and they're decluttering, so they asked me if I wanted to get it, because she knew that I made little things like pins, and wondered if this bigger lathe, which is like 37 inches long, I might want it. And I said, well, my actual lathe is like 5.5 foot bed, so no, I don't need a bigger lathe. But we thought we would offer it to somebody for a minimal price. A lot of you are interested in lathe work, but you don't have a lathe yet. And if you want to buy one new, it's going to be maybe quite expensive. So it's a Buffalo lathe, model WL6, and I can give you more information about it. 3/4 horsepower and about 37 plus inches long. I looked it up myself, and somebody bought one on eBay or whatever for $45. So it's kind of in that price range. So if anybody has an interest, I have a photo of the plate that is on the lathe and so on, and I'd be happy to give you the information necessary to get this lathe.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. All right.
Before we go on,
Bill?
let me add one other announcement. There's an ongoing Fundamentals of Woodworking class that has 14 members that Wayne Watson has been teaching, and we're about halfway through that class. Since that class got full, there have been a number of people that had expressed interest in it. Actually, I had a list of 15 additional people. And there is a new Fundamentals of Woodworking class starting May 1st. That will be open. Of the 15 who had expressed interest, when it came time to register, we've only got 7 of them registered. So we have additional openings if you or anybody that you know in the guild would like to take the class. They can go online and register. There's a lot of information about the class on the website. So go for it.
It's a great class. Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Okay, well, I'm going to turn it over to Don Turner, who's going to facilitate our discussion on CNC, computer numerical control. CNC. What else do you need to know? But he's. I will just remind everyone we have an election next month. We have cake next month. We have the builder next month. Blah, blah, blah. Anything else? Be a big month. All right.
So we got to go charts. Okay. So I guess I'll start out here. So I'm Don Turner, as I said, and I got a CNC machine 2 years ago last month. So I've been plinking around in the shop, kind of learning how to use it, and had a lot of fun with it. And that's why I'm working in this with this group and these guys doing their work in CNC. So it's a whole lot of fun. So we'll go through CNC. I'm going to go through the history of it, where it started from, we'll go again what the CNC means, and then we have some presenters here to show examples. They're on the table here of what they've done with their machines. I already showed a couple of mine as a sample. So we'll go ahead to the next chart. I think is this one. Yeah. So it stands for Computer Numerical Control, as Vicki said. They were just plain NC machines, numerically controlled machines, and they were back as early as the 1950s. And they were evolved using something called G code, and that's the rough code, the basic code that the machine can interpret. And it say draw a radius, and they have something that'll go tell it to do this, and it'll make a radius of this size and how deep the different axes are. So it basically tells the computer what to do. Computer part was added later, and that's where the fun starts getting into it, and I'll show you here in a second what that means. So the original machines were coded by hand, and down here below, this is what it looks like. This is what my machine looks at when it actually executes. So it comes down, it says turn the spindle on, tells you to move to the x-axis and the y-axis, and here's the z-axis, here's the feed rate. So you can program all that stuff in, you can do it all by hand, and it's just very tedious. It took forever, and if you make a mistake here, the machine goes off and drills a hole in the wrong spot. So it's just very tedious, and so it really wouldn't be a whole lot of fun. So when we add a computer to it, if I can get, the computer got added to the NC and became CNC, and we have what was called CAM software, which is computer-aided machining. And it's come a very, very long way. It provides a simple, easy way with a user interface to allow you to make, if you wanted to make a plaque with lettering, you put the lettering in there and it'll edit the lettering, and then you'll have to write the G code. If you're going to make a S, it has to create all this code to make the S, and the bit has to go down and then cut out, and it's just all these things got to happen. Well, with the machine, you just type the S, tell it to make the code, and boom, presto chango, you've got your S being carved out. So it makes it fun rather than just all the tedium. So I was going to do it. Let's take a look at it. We use, all the guys here that I'm aware of uses Vectric. I'm no exception, software. We're not here to sell it because there's other brands out there, but I really like what I have, the Vectric I have, and I think they're probably would say the same thing. So I'm going to run through an example here on the next chart to show you what it looks like. And so this is kind of what it looks like. Let me grab this item here. So what you do is you can make a sample, something out of here. This is a fourth axis exercise. My machine has a fourth axis, which means it can turn. You can go back and forth. There's an X, Y, and Z, and then the fourth axis, it allows it to turn. So it's like a lathe. And so what I did was I grabbed this piece of cedar out of the scrap bin. It's got nail holes in it and everything. And I thought, well, let's see if I can make this out of. So here's an example of what it looks like. So in Vectric, over here in the distance over here, this is where you can make all your, you do your design. You can carve out letters and make shapes, and the shapes I showed you before. This is where you actually do this. So this is where you create the operations. This shows you what it looks like that you're working on. And then this is what's called the tool path, and that's what creates the G code that the machine can understand, and then it'll go out and actually carve out what it is you want it to carve out. And you do a 2D view if you want to create letters, and then the 3D view is basically this, and this is this. So that's what it gives you an idea of what you can do with tool path, starting here, watching what you're doing, and then going over here to create the tool path. And then you create these files here, and you either run it on your machine from a computer, or my machine's actually has a DSP controller, so you just put it on the machine and it can run without a computer. It just does it all. It has a computer built in, basically.
DSP means?
Oh, digital signal processor. Sorry, I've worked in the industry too much. It's a processor that can, it's a controller processor. I'm sorry about that. That slipped out. That's left over from my previous career. Okay, so anyway, this one has a 4th axis. So this is what it looks like. Now, you're not stuck with just using a CAM software. I happen to use TurboCAD. You can use SolidWorks and whatever creates, in this case, an STL file, stereolithographic, and it's what it's called, I think, is what the 3D printers use. And so what you can do is you can take your CAD program, computer-aided design program, create this 3D model, which is, this is in TurboCAD, that's what it looks like, and you import it as an STL file, bring it into Vectric, and then use Vectric to actually create this. So actually, to be fair, I actually created this model in TurboCAD, and then I brought it into Vectric, and then I used this Vectric to create the G code to create this. So rather than starting here, I started here, brought it in, and then created the toolpath. So you don't have to necessarily have Vectric only, just as long as you have a way to create the G code. So that's kind of what I had. Again, here's some examples, some Woodworker Guild folks that have a CNC machine. We're not the exhaustive list of people. But so that's what I want to do is we're going to go through what has everybody done with their machine. And so these are guys who are going to give us some examples of some of the cool stuff that they did. So we'll take a look at it. And then there'll be, at the end of the meeting, there'll be a demonstration. We've got a couple machines over here that will actually run through a couple toolpaths, and so you can see what it actually does when it's in action. So we'll go to the next person. So Mike Perry is the next guy up. This? Well, as I said, I created it in TurboCAD, so I used my CAD program. I used it because I knew the program, so it only took about, I don't know, an hour and a half or so to create this in TurboCAD. Now, I did buy the top version, Aspire, and I can make this in Aspire, but I'm still much faster in TurboCAD just because I've used it so much. But I can do either one now because I bought the Vectric Aspire. But so it takes probably an hour, but you can spend 4 or 5 hours creating the model. But keep in mind, once you've created it, you can stamp out as many as you want. So, and they'll all be exactly identical. So, but we'll have questions, by the way, at the end of the meeting. There you go.
Hey, just Mike Perry. So I got an X-Wave machine. It's an HD4 extended bed, which means it's got a 25-inch cut by 50-inch deep. And it has the work surface. And then the Z-axis is actually 7 inches, so 7 inches of height I can cut. I bought mine in 2017 for $4,499. I think they're right at $499 now, so they've gone up a little bit. Since then, I've upgraded my system from an HD4 to an HD5 gantry, which is basically the top piece is the gantry. It's a little beefier gantry, so if you were to buy an HD5 today, it's basically what I've got now. So that upgrade costs $1,500. They had a promotion going when I bought mine, $500 back if you send your old one back in. So mine came with a 2-watt laser, and since then I've upgraded the laser, and the cost of it was $749.99. It has gone up to $1,000 right now. So.
Do these costs include the software?
Yes, yes, includes the software, and I got VCarve Pro, which gives you the extended bed length. And I went the wrong way on that, but. Nope. Okay. So here's some pictures or here's some images I've made, or some projects I've made. So I made my daughter, or my granddaughter, a rocking elephant. Basically, I downloaded a file off the internet, and then I made her one for her, so she could play with. So that was all done on the CNC. There's actually nothing holding that thing together. It's all press fit, and I didn't even have to glue it, so it's just an idea. So then I went to, my grandson was born, and when we were at the hospital, this image was on the window at the hospital. This is TJ from University of Columbia, Missouri. I took a picture and put it into VCarve. I made this image here, and what you the brown image on the inside, that's like a matting. Basically, what that is shelf lining, shelf lining or whatever. Contact paper. That's the word I'm looking for. And then the outer image, I was able to paint it black, or my wife actually painted it black and then painted the gold and all the other. So it's actually a two-dimensional thing, because this part here is proud of the rest of it. And then gives you an idea how big it is next to the grandson. I used the same head and created the little cart for my granddaughter, and kind of give you an idea how big that was. I also created the other parts of this with the CNC, including the wheels, the wheel covers, I guess. They were plastic wheels, but I put the covers on to make it look a little realistic or better. And then here's some names that I've cut out. These are all cutouts. There's that image of TJ. And then what I did a little different, this is sitting on top of a granite countertop. This bottom one is a cutout, but I also engraved the inside. So it's got a border that's regular wood, and then I use black to cover, fill in the blanks. I've got one over here I've brought along. Just made this yesterday, so to give you an idea how big those images are. It's basically the same size. So I'm all cut on the CNC and very simple to do. Yeah, I can show that one too, I guess. Well, I'll show both of them.
Okay.
Okay.
So your machine will use either a laser or a router?
Correct. Yeah, soon I'd eventually like to upgrade to a spindle. But so here's I started making a 3D project. These will be up on the table. This is the coarse cut on the CNC. This is the finish cut on the CNC. And this is the burnout on the CNC. So mistakes can be made, and basically what that was is I didn't allow for the thickness of the router bit at full extension. So it went in and it decided you can't find out where it wants to go, so it decided to make its own path. And they will fool you. So. And there's a sign I made. I've brought this before in the past. So this is basically engraved into it, and just so it doesn't take a whole lot of time to create these. Probably you spend more time probably trying to get everything lined up the way you want it, but and then learn the tricks of the CNC, and then some more projects I made. A teddy bear with inlay, just a Valentine thing for my wife, and then I've created this car. Didn't make the wheels. I made the wheels, but not on the CNC. But a lot of the parts I made on the CNC. I think I got one more. Oh, let me see that block for. I thought this block was on there, but then I started making blocks, and these were cut on this was cut on the laser. So, baby blocks, and these are nice little gift ideas for new grandkids and stuff, or kids, babies. And then I kind of gave you a little bit of the anatomy of the CNC. So you got X, Y, and Z axis. X being left and right, Y being front to back, and Z-axis is up and down. And then there's grooves to mount your tracks or your tools down and stuff. And let's see what else I got here. And this is just an idea of sample of sizes. I'm not trying to promote Shark or anything, but we've got a machine over there, which is this one right here. This one in the middle is the one I actually kind of upgraded to. And so there are different sizes that are available out there. And I think Willie's up next.
Yep, Willie.
I'm up.
Which one you get? Oh, okay. Yes, I'm Willie Blue, and I've had a CNC for about as long as Mike has had one, but Mike has done more things with his than I have. And you've seen him before you drew those out. I've done mailbox covers, address labels, plaques, and some other signs. But those things you have to draw out yourself. You go on and work with the program. You draw what you want to do and how you want to do it. You have your plans in your head and you work it out. And like they said, once you get it done, you can have it on a thumb drive. You can just keep printing out as many as you want, as long as you want. Now, I'm going to talk about the mistakes because I've done a lot of them, okay? I don't bury them, I keep them. I didn't take any pictures of all the projects that I've done, but I did this one. And if you don't want to make one or don't have the time to make it, on the website there are lots of programs, a lot of projects, I should say, that you can make. And this is one of them. You just go in, you don't have to do anything but copy it, put it on, and run the program. Okay, when running the program, there's some things I'm going to tell you, okay? Don't run the program without looking at it first. There's something called a tool path. You should make sure that the tool path is there. Now you said tool path, yes. You talked about the tools. On there, they may use a tool and you may not have that tool in your path, so you have to get, not in your path, but in the, inside the machine, inside the program, it may not have the right size, so you need to get that size of it and put it into the index so that you can have it when you go back to it. Now on this one, funny thing about it, it has in the tool path for the cutout of the profile, which is this part, it had you to make it, now it's 3/4 inch, and it had to make it in just one path. No, you don't want to do that. No, I changed it so it would make at least 3 to 4, actually it was 5, it turned out to be 5 paths, and it made it like 1/8 of an inch to go around. And it's much easier on you, it's much easier than buying bits, because bits can cost you a lot of money. But I had, this is it here on this one. So, well, you can't see it over there, but this is a remote control holder. You put the remote controls inside the holder and keep it going. But this is funny. Let me show you what I say is funny. I have 2 here, and I painted them. And woodworkers are not supposed to paint their projects. They're supposed to have them with the natural wood. And so I tried to take that off so I could show that part of it. But I actually have one of the sides here that I cut off. This took me less than an hour to do. But if you look at this, and they say everything's supposed to come out the same. On here you see that the red one is wider than the blue one. Okay, it's not the machine's fault. It's, what is it called? The operator error. That's the word for it. That's the word for it. I had some poplar because the pine was really soft and I was making a lot of mistakes with the pine. So I did it with the poplar. But as I said, it's larger than that and it's supposed to be 3/4. So with that thickness, I ended up, let me know my time is up on there. When I got to that point and I pulled it up, got the machine, pulled the board out, it was not cut out, which means now I have to cut it out. So I put a hole in it, and the piece that was in there in order to cut it out, I put the hole in, and then I used my scroll saw to finish cutting it out. And then I had to line it up. And the reason I went with poplar is because the pine was so soft, I was having all these problems with it. I decided, okay, I'm not going to do that anymore. Well, I'm going to tell you what else not to do. Don't use plywood unless you get Baltic birch. Now, they had a sheet of Baltic birch at Rockler for $100. Yeah, I know. None of you are laughing at that either. But then there was, I went to Lowe's, and I bought, they have voids in it. And this stuff started exploding on me. So it did not turn out just as what it was. This is not going to be a remote control holder. This is going to be a pin holder. I don't throw anything away if I can help it. I'm turning it into that. So I already have sales for 3 of these. Well, at least I told them. My family asked me about it because I sent a text message out, and I said, well, they're $100 for friends and family, and for strangers they're free. And so they said no. they didn't accept that. So so my niece in Arizona wants me to do her one, but she wants it in natural wood, so it's probably going to be a better grade of pine than what I had, because I think there's a different grade that's soft and that's hard. Well, this one is bad for me, so I'm going to go with the better grade. And I'll leave these sheets up here for you to take a look at when you go through it. And let me see if I have anything on here that would be, well, this is the same thing. It's just going to be the sheets that I have from here. And, well, you can't see them from on the thing there now anyway. So, but this is how it will come out. And so now I'm turning it over to Joe.
Thanks, Willie. Right button? This one? Okay. My name's Joe Turner. Yeah. I don't know if you've been listening. They've talked about the different sizes of machines they've got. They're all these big ones, you know. I've got the least expensive one. It's in essence has a range of in the y-axis, that's front to back, 13 inches, and side to side, 12 inches. And it's actually the one sitting over there because we wanted to show you a little demo if anybody wanted to see it. So it's a 3.5 minute demo that will show up something. But one thing I did with my machine, this is what it normally looks like. Oh, they told me that online they can't see. So on the right, no, on the left as viewed, there's 4 slots on that bed, and it is, at least for me, extremely difficult to clamp anything down and align it properly. So I, in essence, created a bed that's similar to most of the machines that you buy for more money. Their bed is aluminum, but mine is a MDF. And there's a reason there's a line in the middle, because I had scrap pieces that were half the width, and so I just, you know. Oh, okay. So someday I may replace it, but, and I put some lines on it, you'll see on the bed. That tells me the range of workable router space and all the way around. And I also put holes in there slightly bigger than 1/8 of an inch. And when I say slightly, like 1/1000th of an inch, so that I can put 1/8 inch pins in there that I can bump up my workpiece again repeatably, as well as perfectly aligned with the axes. So that's worked extremely well once I finally did that. And all these holes are drilled by the CNC machine, so I know they're all accurately aligned as needed. I think I might have left off something here, though. Let's see, software, same software they're using. Software, so my machine claims to sell for $1,200, had $200 off at Woodcraft. This was a year ago or more. And it came with the software that says is worth $300 and some dollars, you know. So that was all good. I want to make a point. So I'm in my 60s. My attitude about learning new software is probably like most people's. Oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. It'll be, you know, it's going to be hard. So I did a little research because I had a project, and I'll show it in a moment. As you guys all know, I make puzzles. I talk about it every chance I get. And one of the puzzles I wanted to make was very difficult on my router table. I had to kind of plunge it down, and I make like 150 or 200 of these when I make them. So when I saw this available for that price, I thought, well, I'm going to make my puzzles, I'll sell them, and I'll reap that money, and I'll more than pay for this in one try. So I thought, okay, I'm motivated. But when I researched, I said, how hard is it to use? And the reviews were real encouraging about how easy it was. It said they got videos. So I said, okay, I'll go for it. I bought it. I looked at maybe 10 different videos, 20 minutes each. And my first project was real simple. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, got it. And sure enough, I did have it. You know, it was real easy to do what I needed to. So if you're thinking, you know, that you might be interested, from my side, a guy who doesn't want to learn new software, I found it to be very easy to get to that. And now I've gotten to the point of playing around, of making things that I could never have done on my table or on my router table. And I'm making new puzzle ideas, and I just, you know, it's really, for me, it's been a great investment. So I'm glad I did that. Did I say everything there? Okay. Okay, so this is my first project, and as you can see on the left, I mean, it's just some straight, like, skinny rectangles and a circle, and I mean, it's really easy to assemble this and to create the toolpath and have it route. What I really love about this software is it allows you, after you create the toolpaths, and the toolpath is just telling the router bit how it's supposed to move, left, right, as well as depth. And it was mentioned earlier that when you route, if you want to, say, go through the whole thing, and let's say it's a 1/2 inch thick, you don't want to do that all in one pass. That's a lot of wood to burn. So you're going to have it, you're going to tell the toolpath that, hey, I want to go a depth of, say, 1/10 of an inch. And it knows the type of bit you're using, and so it automatically says, oh, I got to do this 5 times to get down to 1/2 inch. So that's what's really slick about this. You tell it a very few key points, it does the rest of the work. And so I was able to tell it the tool paths and then say simulate. Well, that's probably not the word they use, but it then draws this for you, and then you can rotate it and look at it and find the mistakes. Just like, oh wait, that's not what that's supposed to do. And then you then actually, you create the files, you go to your router, CNC, you create the wooden item, and you look at it and compare it, and I mean, it's spot on. To the point I was telling somebody that I had made something that required a V bit, and it had to go down into a pocket hole, and it got close to the edges, and when I got done, it had, the V bit had kind of hit the edges and made some ripples on it, and I was like, oh, I didn't want that. I went back to the simulated view and kind of looked, and there they were. The little ripples were there, and I just hadn't seen them, so it is that accurate. So anyways, that was my first project. Like I said, this is the vectors, this is the tool path, and then I actually have the real thing over there. Oh, okay, there it is. Just showing you where all the inside components were, then I glued a piece of wood on there and did some more cleanup, and these are one of my coins. You gotta get the coin out. Okay, what this is these are little wheels, and we're gonna make some, but these wheels are for a safe. This all got created, you put numbers, and so there's 10 little tabs there. But this got created from my grandson. Saw something on video and making a safe. He said, hey, Grandpa, could you help me? Well, I took it to the nth dimension, as I always do. And actually I have another design concept. It probably won't be done for a year, but that goes beyond this. I get carried away, but I can't help it. It's so fun. And so, but this is here if you want to see what it's all about. Oh, okay, and then, so as part of a big puzzle project that I'm working on that's I estimate taking me about 8 years, I'm making a decoder wheel. And so I made an outer wheel, just the alphabet, and then the inner wheel, I mix up the letters, and then you dial it, and you tell people what to dial to, and you have a little encryptor key, but it just spins. I show this to my brothers who are musicians, well, amateurs, and they were talking about this wheel of fifth. So any of you guys maybe know, I hardly even understand what they're talking about. But they said, hey, you can make a wheel of fifth. Or I said wheel, a circle of fifth. And they gave me the basic concept, and I laid it out, and I made them some. And so, and then my logo, JGT, those are my initials. So I decided I wanted to make a little coin. And my ultimate goal is to make this out of brass. But I don't know how to route brass yet, so I'm hoping somebody will educate me. I don't want to be breaking bits, and brass isn't expensive, but it's not cheap. So, discussions, let's see, lessons learned. Make sure your router bit is tight in the router. I was going to joke. I was like, hey, I'm so glad you guys brought examples of failures because I haven't seen any myself. You know? How about I haven't kept any myself, really?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so make sure the router bit is tight in the router. You'd think that'd be obvious, and you think it's clamped down. So I'm learning, is like, this doesn't feel clamped in. We don't have time to go into all these reasons of mistakes, but make sure the clamps are tight on the wood, you know, otherwise the wood will move. So for two-sided work, make sure to include an index hole to re-zero once flipped. And all that means is, I'm assuming somebody doesn't know what this means. I'm talking to you then. So you drill a hole all the way through, probably 1/8 of an inch, and that is somehow related to 0, ideally in both axes. And then if you have a two-sided project, which the software very easily allows you to do, you flip it over, and then you want to go back and really re-zero at that index hole. You know, I try real hard to already have it at 0, but I have learned that it can be off 2/100ths or even 1/100ths. And if you're making things that kind of need to move in the circles, you know, that causes you problems. And so anyways, but it's real easy to fix. Create checklists to ensure all the steps completed before, okay. So I have kind of created little things like, especially when I'm flipping, do this, then 0. You know. When you swap out a router bit, you may have a project that needs 2 or 3 different router bits. You want to do some engraving, so it uses a V bit. And then you need to make some holes, so you got different straight bits. You have a very simple accessory that you can buy that lets you zero out Z. X and Y you probably don't need to change. But I have forgotten to re-zero after, because I just get done and I sit back down and start running. And it goes deeper than I wanted it to because its Z is lower, you know. And so mistakes I've made. So I try to go through a rhythm. Let's see, repeat for each bit change. Okay, for multiple bit projects, create a tap file. Oh, okay, so a naming convention that I've come up with. So just, you know, I've got the name of the overall file, and then, you know, but what I do is I tell myself what bit I'm going to use with that tap file. And I usually I've started numbering the order. You know, I may have 3 or 4 files that need this project, so this is number 1. So I know to pull up number 1 with this bit, and, you know, et cetera, et cetera. I suppose a lot of things people make are one-timers, so they'll do it, they're done, they get rid of the file. Me, with my projects, where, like I said, I make 150 of them, I may have to repeat these things, and so I want to make sure I'm organized. I think I'm done. Yeah, Steve? No, you're Steve.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, there you go.
So Steve, for some reason, he chose to be in Hawaii instead of hanging out with us. I don't understand it, but he's in Hawaii now, so I'm going to talk for him. But he's got a Shark, the HD5, so it's a 25 by 25 by 7. So you can see there's all different sizes you can get, depending on what you want to do. Again, we're back to Vectric VCarve Pro. That's a really great software, like everyone said. And so here's a picture of his machine and some of the setup he's had with his machine. And here's some projects. These are the solid wood carvings he did. This is kind of slick here where he made this box. This is the top of the box, and this is the inside. He carved the whole thing out, so all with the CNC. And then he carved this out for dice, and then there's a cribbage board. So these are, and this actually, they have these in the Vectric site. They actually, you can just bring that over, kind of like what Willie was talking about. And here's an inlay. So this is not just carved out, but you can make it, carve this out and make the female, and then you go back and you make the male side, and then those fit in there, and this is actually 2 different kinds of wood. So and the inlays come out just perfect. And then you can do a dome lid, so it's kind of a 3-dimensional kind of thing. And here's a box that he'd done. And here's some, as you can see, here's some table saw inserts. So this is great. So if you have one you messed up or it's worn out or something's wrong with it, you can, once you create the tool path for it, you can just stamp out as many you want, complete with the hole and the slot and whatever it is you need to do. So this really helps out. And here it is for a bandsaw. You can see you can barely see it. There's a slot over there. And here's a writing desk that he'd done. This is actually, he has a layer of lighter wood and then a darker wood on top, and he carves this out, and so it kind of a cool looking effect. And I think he's in Maui, and so of course he had to slip this in. So here's an actual relief or 3D version of the model of Maui. Okay, and so we're back to me, and I'll try to get through this real quick. So I have an Axiom AR8. It's a 24 by 48 by 6. And then I use Vectric Aspire. I originally got the VCarve Pro, and I upgraded to Aspire. Lets you to do 3D. The CAD stuff I could do 3D, but it's CAD, so you have to put in formulas, and it's just made for machinery. And this is more artistic, where you can kind of extrude a leaf and make things that are more artistic and natural in shape. So that's the reason why I got it. I do have a 4th axis, which is what I made that piece out of over there out of. I made it, that was a 4th axis. And I also have a laser. It has a 3 horsepower liquid cooled spindle. The machine does require 220 volts, and it runs from 0 to 24,000 RPM, so you can run it at any speed, and it's just under 10,000. And then it uses a separate controller so that you don't have to use a PC for it. This is the 4th axis, and then this is the laser. And the thing, it's a beast. It weighs 700 pounds, so it's a beast, but you can run real fast tool paths and so on. And
what is the 4th axis?
It's this right here. It looks like a lathe. So
it's rotation.
Yeah, so it's rotation. So you put it on the machine and you run this is the gantry here, and you run it over it, and you have your piece in here, and then it turns like a lathe, and then the router bit goes down in here and it cuts out whatever it is you want to make.
Your material is
Turning. Yes, so it's a true 3D. All the other stuff you have on 3 axes is what they call 2.5D, because you're not actually, you have to flip it over and make it 3D. But with this, you can actually turn it and create a 3-dimensional, I don't know, whatever carving it is you want, you can make out of 3 dimensions. So you can make like a cabriolet with the ball and claw. You can make those with this machine if you have the right tool path. So anyway, I did a tall boy. I just delivered it to one of the Woodworker Guild. Here he is right there. I put it in there, and so I made a tall boy. And so I did there's some fluting here, and there's some flowers along here. And so that's what I carved out, and it was longer than the machine, but I took this piece out, carved out the bottom all the way to this stopping point, turned it around, and then relocated it using indexing, and then I created the flutes. So it was a 53 inches or something like that tall, but even though I only have a 48-inch machine, I could actually make it whatever length I wanted. And so that's really fun and all that. But I also run a business, and there's boring, tedious stuff. And so I make adjustable shelves for kitchen uppers, and you're just drilling holes like this. That's perfect for CNC. And say, you do it. I'm not doing this. So you put the tool path in here, put that on there, clamp it, and just walk away and let it do its thing. And then you see it when it comes back to home. You look over there every now and then and see it comes back to home. You swap it out and put another piece in there and tell it to go, and it stamps out. So I like using it. It's like having another employee in there. I just let it do the boring stuff. So there is all kinds of creative things, but it's great for doing repeat stuff if you're doing a business. Again, like I said, 2.5D is where you do half of it, and then that's mostly where I do it. But then you can go to the full 3D with it. I showed you this before. These are, again, right out of pictures from the internet. I just got these out. This is on a VCarve. Well, actually, the Vectric site, you can pull these models up, and I created those. So this is 2.5D work. And again, these are from a picture right out of the internet, like I said. These are some 3D fishes, but this was before I had the 4th axis. So that was the trick where you had the race car where you flip it over. And so these little fishes, I got them off of the Vectric site, and I made those, and I was going to throw them away, and my wife said, no, let's hang those like they were fish caught. So they're only about this big, but I was just playing around with it. And of course, you saw this here, and these are some of the different things I made. I did make all these in TurboCAD because I didn't have the Vectric, and I didn't know how to do it as well as I could with that. My CAD program is a bit of a crutch for me, I guess. So, so laser engraving, I just got it. It's a 4.2 watt laser, but it'll burn through the wood really fast. So you got to be careful with it. And I don't know about you guys, but the precision, Axiom Precision makes you sign a legal form to say if you do this and you blind yourself, it's not our fault. So you have to, but they sell glasses with it and everything. But anyway, you do the hardness of the wood is a big factor. On painted stuff, what it'll do, it'll carve it out and it'll be beautiful. You say, oh, that's so pretty. And you go like that and it just smears carbon all over. So I haven't had much luck with painted stuff, but here's something I played around with. So I just cut out on oak. I didn't bring it, but I'm just learning how to do it. And so, any questions before we get into the demo? Yes?
Explain the difference in routers. You got water-cooled routers, you can use regular routers.
Yeah, so a regular router is you can take your router motor out of your router and you can mount it into the CNC. And the CNC basically just takes this motor and runs it around and carves everything out. But you could be running it for a couple hours. Whereas the water-cooled is made to run all day long. So it actually has a water circuit. Mine has a little itty-bitty radiator about this big with a fan on it. And it's the thing I like about Axiom, it's a closed system. So it just runs antifreeze through the spindle, up through this, and runs through the radiator with a little cooler. And there's a little pump, and it pumps it through the spindle. And the spindle is why it has to run on 220, because of the spindle. Whereas if you use a regular router, on most of them you can run them on 115. But mine needs 220 because of the spindle. It's a 3 horsepower spindle. So it's just water cooled, and it can just run forever. And it's a brushless motor, so you don't have brushes to deal with and all those things. So it's a pretty good size upgrade for that. But it's great for running really long tool paths.
How do you guys handle dust control?
Mine has, I don't know about you, but mine has a boot, and you put this boot and magnetically, so you have the bit comes down here like this, and then there's a boot that goes around here, and it goes down, it's like a little brush, and it goes down there, and the brush kind of slides along, and then your dust collection is here. So you drop down a 4-inch pipe, and it just kind of follows it around. For me, the dust collection isn't great. It's okay, but I still got to vacuum up when I'm done. But if you're carving letters, you almost don't even need it. But if you're hogging out dado joints or something like that, then dust collection does help, but it's not like the planer, which gets almost everything. It's okay. I don't know about your experience.
So for me, mine being a small one, but it makes a mess about a foot around itself. And I've got a little vacuum shop vac next to it, and I typically vacuum when I'm done with the project or halfway. It depends on how much.
Okay, the second question, are you guys in a separate group for CNC routing or just know each other?
We just, they asked us to put this together.
I thought I had seen there was a forum somewhere, but I haven't seen any activity.
Yeah.
on it.
We used to have one.
Yeah,
and
okay.
It's kind of dissolved. Some of the other participants stopped coming.
The pandemic kind of like took it away too.
Yeah, the pandemic took it away. We used to have some
Okay.
meetings at Rockler. Actually, the following Tuesday after this meeting, we would typically have a meeting there. Since then, Rockler's closed their classroom that they used to have. So, I mean, we used to use their CNCs as a demonstration or whatever, or do some discussions, but it's kind of dissolved. I wouldn't mind bringing it back, just trying to find a location for it.
If you bring it back, I'd like to join.
I haven't checked. I used to work for Rockler, that's why we had Rockler.
I know Woodcraft does have a class.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while we're waiting for a question, a comment that Don made, he said he kind of, he likes to make the holes and walk away. When he says walk away, he means to another part of the workshop.
Yes.
You're told not to walk away not to leave your CNC machine running, go upstairs and watch TV. And we'd all attest to the importance of that because of the surprises that we get when things happen, you know, and I've thought about every time it happens, like, I understand why I'm not supposed to walk away. So I have walked 20 feet and done something else, and when something happens, the noise it's making changes to a different pitch, or, you know, and you quickly respond. Anyways, I wanted to emphasize that safety tip.
I'm glad you said that. That's a very, very good point. Even all the manufacturers say, don't leave the room. Now I'll do that. I'll get it, kick it off, and run it. But I'll be doing something else in the shop, and it's exactly what Joe said. If it's going along, and then it gets for one, I had a straight bit. I don't know why it did it. I almost got 80% through the program, and I could hear it cutting, and then it got real quiet. And I look over there, and the bottom of the bit comes out from underneath the little boot, and say, well, that's why it got quiet. And it broke and I don't know why it broke it. I was 80% through the job, and it broke for some reason. But so anyway, that is a really good point. So, but you can do other stuff. It's just you want to stay there, because a lot of times, like, what if your piece breaks loose? You know, the clamps, it moves or something. You want to stop it before it's blind. It doesn't. It just follows your G code. So. That's really important. Is that it?
So Don, you mentioned that you had a longer piece than it would fit on your CNC. It just happened to have, I guess, a break in the middle where you could flip it around and run the other half for the flutes. What is it possible to, I guess, kind of do half and half? If it's not kind of a natural breaking point, if it's something continuous, like, does the software give you the ability to say, okay, I only have a 25 by 25 bed, but this particular time it's a 24 by 36 project, something where you can kind of re-index it, does half, and then you can slide it.
The software does let you tile. I've never used it, but it has a concept of, you know, and I don't know how you'd move the piece to re-educate it, or if you'd make separate pieces that it thinks you're going to, tile together. It like that, and you'd have little seams, you know. But that's one way that I know you can do it.
Yeah, the key is it's all about indexing. So whether you're making a piece and flipping it over, you've got to have pins. So when you put the pins here, you flip it over and the pins line up like this. So you have to set the, so what you do if you're going to do it, you use the machine to create the indexing, because the machine is super accurate. And then you flip it over and slide the pins back in this way, and they'll actually fit. It's not like one will be off, and then you'll be able to carve the other side. Or if you're doing in the case you asked, you would set it up. I have some pins that go into my spoil board, which is an MDF spoil board. I put those in there, and then I clamp it down, and then when I'm done, I rotate it around the other way and clamp it down again. And since it's tied to those indexes, tell it to do the other tool path. It's just that it's doing it upside down, but the machine doesn't care. It's just following G code. So then I cut the flutes. So I cut the little flowers, and then I cut the flutes, and that made Mark Hatton really happy.
Yeah, question to Joe Turner. Did you do your 3D drafting in VCarve?
For what?
For your puzzle boxes?
No. I have in the past done it on PowerPoint, which is a real pain and not very good. But when I ultimately made my puzzle, I started laying stuff out in VCarve. Doing three-dimensional, I had to kind of visualize what it was. I would like to, I'm playing around with SketchUp and try to help myself visualize it there. But when you ask, can I make it?
No, like, let's say you already know what you want done.
Okay.
So then do you open up VCarve and, draw a square with?
Yep, yeah. The beauty for me about VCarve is it tells you all the dimensions of things, So I make a rectangle, 2 3/4 inches by whatever. And then I want a circle that's not quite in the center. And I'm able to move it and put it right where I want. And like I said, I can tweak it and play and bump. And being able to bump the circle over, I can go hit edit and type in the center location and all these things. So I can very accurately get it designed like I want.
In VCarve.
I've never been a 3D graphic designer, so I don't know how to use basic graphic software.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So that's it for the, whoop, we got one more.
Couple more arms. Yeah.
Just paralleling on the last question, you say you use SketchUp. Can SketchUp produce the STL file?
No, I'm sorry, what I said is I wanted to learn to use SketchUp to give me a 3D view. I don't know if I can use that to then bring it in. I don't have that answer. I don't know if anybody else does.
SketchUp can do STL models. Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Freeware or the pay or the pro? Freeware. The freeware allows you to do that.
9 or something.
There used to be a place up by St. Charles Hardwoods on that same road that it's like St. Louis Woodworkers Guild, but they have like metal machines and they had 3D printers. Has anybody been up there? In other words, the cost to get into this is really high. Right, and so they had a lot of those machines up there. Mm-hmm. And you could probably, if people are interested, I can get the information on it, find out what they have. I know you have to pay some amount of money every year to be a member, but you could try it before you have to buy it.
Right.
So,
It's a
anyway.
good point, very good point.
Makerspace is those groups, by the way.
Does Vector software, how much does it cost? Is it a
Well,
per month charge or?
No, you can buy the license now. I don't know how he got it for $300. I've had to pay $600 for VCarve Pro with my Axiom.
Because I got the poor man's version.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then I upgraded to Vectric, and that's a $2,000. But go to Aspire, I'm sorry. When you go to Aspire, that's their top thing. And then you can do everything with that. So it's a total, so I spent $600 to get the VCarve Pro, and then when I upgraded, I only had to come up with the difference of $1,400 or whatever. I think I got it for $1,200 more because I already had the license or something.
Okay, I've got I use a Shapeoko. Okay, I don't know if you've heard of Shapeoko or not, but I use a Shapeoko, and it has Carbide 3D software.
Yes,
absolutely
that's
free, and it does
yes.
almost everything that the
Yes.
the Vectric does.
Yeah, there are other software programs. We are not here to sell Vectric. That's just what we happen to use.
You also go to the conferences.
And I was going to say that the basic program that comes with the machine is actually fairly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can import pictures and duplicate them and things of that nature.
Right, right.
And sometimes you're going to upgrade. If you go to the conference, there's a discount.
Need a mic.
They will actually give you a discount if you upgrade from like desktop to the next one and then to pro.
Yeah.
You get discount prices on them. But sometimes you run into a problem and there's no number to call for. I believe it's, what is it, Wave? No, not Next Wave, but the Fast Springs is the one that does their sales and stuff for them now. So you may have to have a problem getting with them. There's no telephone. You just have to do things online with them.
Yeah. So I have to admit, though, I'm running a business, and I'm using this with the business. So that's the reason why I do that, because it's the TurboCAD I do renderings of a whole kitchen and stuff. So it's sort of running the business, but I'm telling you, the VCarve, it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun to use the CNC, and I bought it mostly for fun. But yes, I do make it do the tedious stuff too. So anyway. So that's kind of where we are. So if that's it, we are going to have a couple demos. Doug over here has got some charts he wants to go through. He's running the Shaper Origin. I've never seen the thing run before, so I'm going to stick around. I want to see that thing run because I've never had it actually demonstrated. It's really slick. It's a router that tells you which direction to go. It's amazing to me. It's not like magic. And then Joe's got his machine, so you'll be able to see stuff actually in action. So if you want to do that, stick around because I think it'll be kind of interesting demonstrations. So with that, can we adjourn? Is that, Vicki, am I allowed to adjourn? Yeah, okay. So we got